got it. There we are. Well, it is Wednesday, my dudes. Time to tune in. I'm tuning in. I'm glad you tuned in. I appreciate every single one of you. Do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. I am very late doing today's video because I've been reading emails. They're not my emails. They're somebody else's emails. Like 23,000 of them. I didn't read them all, but I did read some. And I wish I didn't. And you know what? I'm not going to talk about them. I'm not going to talk about them, and I'm not going to think about them. I'm going to let other people worry about that shit, because today we are talking about notes and intervals and scales and chords, and should open vital. So you can see that. And it always opens on my primary monitor because it's stupid. And it opens underneath the topmost window because it's stupid. And I have to move it over to the appropriate monitor because it's stupid. Incidentally, while I do like to have it maximized, I can't keep it maximized because when it opens on the wrong monitor, because it's stupid, if it's maximized, it will miscalculate the size it is supposed to be because it presumes, as a shocking number of programs do, that you have your taskbar set to auto-hide. And if you don't, for whatever reason, it will put the top taskbar slightly off the screen. So you can't move the window, or take it out of maximized, or close it, or indeed do much of anything. And unless you happen to know the magic secret of go into your taskbar settings and temporarily set your taskbar to auto-hide so the title bar will pop back onto the screen, if you don't know that little magic trick, then you're stuck. You can't really move the software. It stays exactly where it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. I hate that shit. I hate the software does that. And I take it as a direct indicator that the overwhelming majority of software engineers in the modern world suck shit at their job and should not be doing it. My autofocus is not working properly. And I can't really tell because I'm old. My eyes don't work that great in the first place. Oh, that looks a little blurry. Well, it always looks a little blurry. Oh, it's blurrier than that. Oh, shit. Now that's too blurry. I should really go to the eye doctor and get some glasses, but I don't. And the reason I don't is because I wore glasses most of my life, and then I got contacts, and those were a pain in the butt, and then I went and got the laser eye surgery, and now I don't have to wear glasses anymore, and I got so used to not wearing glasses, and I'm so happy not having to wear glasses anymore after wearing them for like most of my life. I just don't want to go back to wearing glasses. I'm having a rough time thinking about a lot of shit because, yeah. All of the horse shit that we've got going on right now in America, all of the things that we're seeing are just the progression of a series of symptoms that I've been talking about for 20 years. And nobody cares. Nobody cares at all. They don't want to fix the problem. And the problem is fundamentally, there is a shockingly large number of people, most of them white, most of them men, who simply cannot fucking handle being told no. They can't stand it. You tell them they can't do something and they're like, well, fuck you, I'm going to do it anyway. And the problem keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. And you get these people that you're like, there's a new movie out, and they're like, I can't afford to go see it at the movie theater. Well, if you wait a while, it'll come out on streaming. No, I don't want to wait. I want to see it now. Everybody else is seeing it now. Why don't I get to see it now? Because you don't want to spend the money. It's not fucking rocket science. I mean, if you don't buy the thing you want, you won't have the thing you want. You must not want it very much. Well, that's not fair. What the fuck is wrong with people? It's fucking ridiculous. You get these people, and it's like a studio says, we're going to make a Batgirl movie. Everybody goes, it's going to suck. And then they go, you know what? We're not going to release the Batgirl movie. They're like, what? After all of those people worked on it? But, like, 4 people wanted to watch the Batgirl movie. Why aren't you releasing the Batgirl movie? It's not fair that 4 people don't get to see the movie everybody has been making fun of for 3 years. You just can't handle being told no. That's the whole problem. If people cannot stand being told, you can't have that. No, you're not allowed to do it. You're not allowed to have that thing unless you pay for it. You're not allowed to buy that thing unless you're old enough. You're not allowed to talk to that person unless you're respectful. You're not allowed to use this word. You should call people by the name they want to be called. You should use the pronouns they want you to use. What do you mean I can't call them slurs? Grow the fuck up. What's wrong with you people? The world is full of shit you can't have and shit you can't do. Learn to live with it. It's not that difficult. Fucking autofocus on this camera is garbage. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to switch over to a monitor view anyway. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, right there. So yeah. Let me turn down the volume on this. Okay, let's fuck this shit. Talk about notes. Okay, we've got this notion of what's called concert pitch. And concert pitch is a specific tone. It's the A above middle C is 440 hertz. And let me bring up Audacity so we can do this. I'm going to come over here to generate tone, and we're going to generate a 440 hertz tone. We're going to generate it for precisely 1 second. So that will be 440 cycles of the waveform, and that sounds like this. And that is the tone of the A above middle C. So if I go to middle C, which is here, and you can see that in the keyboard down here. When I come to the A above middle C, here's middle C. And here's the A above middle C. That's 440 hertz. Now if we come back over here to Audacity, we'll have that tone, and you can hear they're the same tone, they're the same frequency, but they have a different waveform over here. Let's actually change over to our basic shape, so we'll get a sine wave. Now, it should be more obvious that they're the same tone. So here's Audacity and that 440 hertz tone, right here. And here's the 440 hertz tone off of the keyboard with a sine wave. They're the same tone, they're the same frequency. That's the A above middle C. It is 440 hertz. are 7 tones in the Western music scale. We call them A through G. So the A above middle C is right here, and the A below middle C is right here. And we call that an octave because they're 8 notes apart. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can hear the harmony when you play both of them together. It's because they're part of the harmonic sequence, which is integer multiples of the same frequency. I'm not doing a good job of explaining this. I'm not at my best right now. Surprise! Anyway, we have the A through G. So we've got A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And then there's the A. We also have what are called the accidentals, which are the black keys in between the white notes. So between A and B, we have an accidental that is midway between them. And that accidental has 2 names. One of them is A sharp, because it is slightly above A. One of them is B flat, because it is slightly below B. Both of those names refer to the same note. There are tuning systems where they don't. That's way outside the scope of what I'm talking. But we call that enharmonic. These are 2 notes. It's the same note with 2 names. The name of a thing is not the thing. It's the same frequency no matter what. But it can be an A sharp or a B flat. Either one is the same note. Now you'll notice there are a couple of notes that do not have an accidental between them. Specifically B and C, and E and F. You will also notice, if you pay attention to such things, that if you start from all of the black notes, all of the black keys, and you move up, you get an A, and a B, and a D, and an E, and a G. Those are the strings on a guitar. And there's an extra E in there. And we start on the E. It's E, G, A, B, and D. We don't have a C string on the guitar. And we don't have an F string on the guitar. The other 5 we do have on the guitar. This is because those notes form what we call a pentatonic scale. Usual Western music has a heptatonic scale, but you can also do a pentatonic scale, which is easiest if you just think of it as leaving off the 2 notes that are only a half step apart. Because we call the distance between 2 notes either a whole step, like when it's between A and B, because there's an accidental in between, that's a whole step, and a half step when there's no accidental between them, between the B and the C. That's a half step. And obviously from A to A sharp, also a half step. From B to B flat, also a half step. I am probably getting way off in the weeds here. If you're getting lost, don't worry about it. There's not going to be a test on it. All you have to do is kind of know what these terms mean. When people say that notes are enharmonic, that means they're the same frequency, but they have multiple names. When people say a whole step, they mean 2, actually, if you count the white and the black keys on the keyboard, there are 12 notes in the scale. You have A, excuse me, that was G. You have A sharp or B flat, B, C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, and G sharp or A flat, which takes you up to the octave of A. And if you count those off, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that goes back to the Beastie Boys' famous line: "Only 24 hours in a day, only 12 notes a man can play." That's a weird fucking reference. I don't know what the fuck. I'm going to do a bad job on this video. Okay, I'm sorry. I hope that it's helpful to somebody, but I don't really hold out a lot of hope that it's going to be helpful. Anyway, so you put all of these things together into a scale. You go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it repeats A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we number these. We call these by numbers, and I can never remember what number what thing is. I think middle C is C4. I don't fucking know. We call them by numbers. A higher number is a higher pitch. It's like this is A something, and this is A something plus 1, and this A something, well, down here we've got A something minus 1 right there. And if we reduce the pitch further, like with the pitch wheel or something, you start at 1 octave and then you move up an octave, that you add 1. So you've got like C0, C1, C2, C3. I think C0 is the lowest note on a piano. Might be A. But yeah, and then it goes up, and the next C is C1, and then C2, C3, C4, C5, and so on and so forth. It goes up 7 octaves, and then you've got 4 more at the end. Okay. There's a total of 88 keys on a piano. But this is mostly vocabulary. What we're talking about here is vocabulary. You've got the A, which is, if you look at the keyboard, you can see that we've got groups of 2 black keys, groups of 3 black keys. The only thing you really need to remember is that you've got a C to the left of the 2 black keys and an F to the left of the 3 black keys, which means in between the last 2 of the 3 black keys, that's your A. And then you've got modal theory. I don't want to get into modal theory. Yeah, there's a concept of modal theory, which is how scales are built. It's fairly common. I will talk about that at a later time. I don't want to talk about it right now. I should talk about it right now because it's a major thing about scales. But first, we should talk about intervals. We've got the 12 actual notes from the beginning to the end of the octave, okay? From C all the way up through B. And these are divided into minor and major, with the exception of 3 notes, 2 of which are called perfect, and 1 of which is called the tritone. The tritone is widely considered a garbage note. That's this. Everybody thinks it sounds awful. They think that's like the worst possible harmony that you could possibly have, is those 2 right there. I don't think that's the worst you can have. I mean, honestly, I think the major 7th. I think that's worse. I think the minor 2nd is worse. In fact, I think the minor 2nd is probably that would, in my opinion, be the worst interval. That's the most dissonant interval, I think. Although the major 7th, that's a close second. But then again, one of the things you find with exposure is that dissonant sounds become more acceptable when you hear them more often. And I listen to a lot of Black Death and Doom metal, which rely fairly heavily on the tritone. So I kind of like it. I'm not bothered by it at all. And you've got, but anyway, you've got the first note in the scale, which is right here, and you can see that on the keyboard. You look at that over to the side. You can see. I don't know. This is how I need to pointing at the keyboard. Yeah, the keyboard over here. Okay, if you look at the keyboard over here, then You see the keys that I'm pressing. So right here we've got the C, and this is typically where we start the major scale. This is also called the Ionian mode. And there are 7 modes. There is the Aeolian, Locrian, Ionian, Dorian, Aeolian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Phrygian, Lydian, correct? Phrygian? Is that Lydian? That would be. Yeah, that's correct. But that's just the white keys starting on a particular letter. So the easiest way to do that is to just kind of count it off. This is the way I do it. If you want to do the Aeolian mode, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is usually just called the minor scale. That's the notes of the minor scale, just like C is the major scale. Locrian is a fucked up, horrible scale that nobody likes. I like it. I like the Locrian scale. I think it sounds good. And then you've got obviously the major and the Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, and Mixolydian. It's just starting on a particular letter, on a particular note, and just going up the white keys. Aeolian starts on A, Locrian starts on B, Ionian starts on C, Dorian on D, Phrygian on E, Lydian on F, and Mixolydian on G. I always want Phrygian to start on F. I don't know why. It doesn't. It starts on E. I always want it to start on F. The thing that I run into. This whole video is stupid and pointless, and I don't know why I'm fucking... Anyway. When you're working with the scale, you have those 12 notes, and you can play any mode from anywhere. If you want to play the Phrygian mode in the key of C, if you want to play in C Phrygian, all you have to do is count off the intervals differently. There are multiple ways to do this. The natural position of Phrygian is on E. If you play Phrygian mode on E, then it's all white keys. It's easy to remember. And we have a cheat method of doing this, okay? And that cheat method is we come up here to the pitch of our oscillator and we can transpose. We can go, oh, I don't want to play Phrygian in E. I want to play Phrygian in F. So what you can do is you can transpose up one semitone to F. Now, when I play E, I actually get an F. See, if I, let me do a different oscillator here so that'll make this easier. Now, grab the basic shapes again. Okay, so, turn that off. Okay. We'll make this our transposed up by 1. We'll make this our standard. Now, in standard pitch here, I play this, it's an E. But if I transpose my oscillator up one semitone, it's the same key, but it's playing a different pitch because I've tuned the oscillator. And now, that's the F. That's the F Phrygian scale. And I just kind of cheated my way into it. So you can do this kind of thing with electronics. You can do weird shit. So, I forget what I was talking about. Anyway, I was okay, so intervals. If you start on any given key and you go up one half step, we call that a minor second. If you go up a whole step, which is 2 keys, that's a major second. So as you might guess, if you go up one more half step, if you go from your fundamental up 1, 2, 3, that's a minor third. And if you go up 4, that's a major third. I don't even know why the fuck I'm talking. One more gives us, when you go up exactly 5 keys, starting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is a perfect fourth. Because your first is the fundamental, right here. It's where you started. Your second, the second note of the scale is either a half step up, or a whole step up. So you have a major second in the key of A. There's a major second. Whereas in Locrian, your second key is only a half step up. So it's a minor second. And in C you get a major second. In D you get a major second. Or in Ionian you get a major second. In Dorian you get a major second. Phrygian you get a minor second. Lydian you get a major. And Mixolydian you get another. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know why I'm talking about this. I don't know what difference it makes. I don't know who fucking cares. I'm not in the greatest of moods. Okay. What really matters is the third. Because the third is either minor, as it is if I play an A chord. You can see that I'm playing the first, third, and fifth keys out of the scale. Now the third is what dictates. Whenever you play a chord, we have this notion of how chords are built. And the way chords are built is by stacking thirds. And the first thing you put on is you put the first third interval that lands you on a note in the scale, which in the Aeolian mode is a minor third because it's a minor key. And then you stack another third on top of that. Traditionally, in Western music, you stack the other third on top of it. So if you start off with a minor third, you then add on top of your minor third a major third. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you do a minor third and a major third, and that gives you a minor chord. It's that minor third in the middle that gives it its minor tonality. It's what makes it feel minor. If you go up a half tone, like C major. It has a major third, and then use the other third, the minor third, to go up 3 tones, and that creates that sound. So you start with sure hope my voice is mixing into this appropriately. I wonder if it is. I don't fucking know. Anyway, I'm not going to check it. Tell me in the comments if I fucked this up completely. But, anywho, because you can stack either type of third on top of either type of third, there are 4 different kinds of chords that you can play. You can play the minor chord here. You can play the major chord here. You can play the augmented chord, which is a major third with a major third on top. Or you can play the diminished chord, which is a minor third with a minor third on top of it. So you've got diminished, minor, major, augmented. Now, just so you can hear those one by one, I'm going to play them through. Those 4 basic chord shapes are pretty much all of the triads that you'll ever be playing. You won't be playing many other triads. That's pretty much it. And then you have 7th chords that go on top of that, which is where you stack another third. And there are 7 of those. And you may scratch your head and go, wait a minute, can't you do either kind of third on top of each of those 4? Well, yes, but if you do a major third on top of an augmented, that's the octave and not a 7th. So because it crosses over to the octave, it doesn't fit within the scale. It actually overflows as what we call an extended chord because it extends more than 1 octave. So that one issue with the augmented chord, that comes in. But we do have the minor chord on top of that. Okay, and that's the augmented minor. That's the augmented major 7th. No, augmented minor 7th. Sorry, it's the augmented chord with a minor 7th. It should be major 7th. I gotta look it up. Do we call it the augmented minor 7th or the augmented major 7th? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay, let me pull up my notes. Okay. It is the augmented major 7th. It should be the augmented major 7th because that's a major 7th. So that's a major 7th. So yeah, augmented major 7th. If you just call it augmented 7th, everybody knows what you mean. But anyway, yeah, you do have the fully diminished chord, which is a minor chord, which is a minor third with a minor third on top of it, and another minor third on top of that. That is a diminished 7th. Or you play the minor 7th on top of it, and that's the half diminished 7th. Then you have, you move up to the minor chord. The minor chord can now have a minor 7th on top of it, which makes it a minor 7th chord. Or it can have a major 7th on top of it, which makes it a dominant chord. Then there's the major chord. You put a major 7th on top of that, it's a major 7th. Put a minor 7th on top of it, it's a major minor 7th. And we already talked about the augmented. But those are the 7 kind of 7th chords, which is kind of cool. There's 7 different kinds of 7th chords. Yay, that's awesome. I'm not doing a good job today. I'm really not doing a good job. I don't feel like I'm being coherent. I don't feel like I'm explaining any of this very. Because I'm kind of crashing out over this bullshit. Anyway, that's how you build chords. And just like the easy thing is, skip a key. That's a chord. Pick any white key, skip a key on the way. Here, this is a diminished chord. It sounds like shit. But all you gotta do is raise the top note or lower the bottom note, and it'll sound better. Just pick one. If you just skip one note in between, that works. And then you'll find that if you skip one note all the way up, and you skip two notes and keep going up, you skip two in between chords, the chords match. That's like, I mean, that's just, you arpeggiate those and it sounds like you know what you're doing. I am not a good keyboard player. I have never been a good keyboard player. I can fake it okay. People go, wow, you know what you're doing. No, I don't know shit. I know some theory, that's it. I am an edit shit on my timeline kind of person. I am a MIDI note piano roll guy. I'm not having a good day. I did tune in. I did show up. I did tune in. I did try to talk about intervals and scales. It is incredibly frustrating watching the same problems happen over and over and over again. And it's like, it does very much feel like I am present for the fall of Western civilization, because I'm watching our politicians just be openly corrupt, and I'm watching them just blatantly victimize and torture people, and a substantial part of the country just sits there and goes, what do you expect? It's the way they all are. No, it's not the way they all are. Historically, that wasn't how they all are. That's not how it used to work. And that's thoroughly fucked up. And then on top of that, I mean, the whole thing with Vital and being on the wrong fucking monitor is just, I'm watching people lose any semblance of pride in their work. And I'm seeing people complain on social media all the fucking time. They sit there and they go, well, I go to work and my boss expects me to, like, do my job. Yes, that's what a job is. You go to work, you're supposed to work. Well, he doesn't want me to be looking at my phone when I'm supposed to be working. Yes, you're not supposed to be looking at your phone when you're working. You're supposed to be doing your fucking work. I wish these people go around, they steal all their movies and all of their television and all of their music, and they say, well, I can't afford all of these streaming services. Then pick one. I mean, for God's sake, it's just pick any service you want. Okay, just like grab one at random, and there's more stuff on that one service than you could possibly watch in your natural lifetime. There are thousands of movies on there. Oh, but this one thing I really like is over on that service. Yeah, do you like it enough to pay $15 a month? No, then you don't like it that much. Fuck it. Don't get that. But then I won't be able to watch it. Yes, that's... You can't afford to buy all of the books that get published. So you don't get to read all of the books that get published. You get to read the ones you can afford to buy, and the ones that come out in the library, and the ones that your friends buy that they'll loan to you. And you don't get to consume everything. There aren't enough hours in the day to consume everything. It's one thing if you have trouble dealing with the loss of something that is actually important and that you need. But to all of these people that are they're losing their fucking mind because they don't get a little treat every 10 minutes. This is fucked up. This is unsustainable. You can't do this. This doesn't work. And it's blown out of proportion. I know that. I know that I'm reacting to like the loudest parts of the population, and the loudest parts of the population is like, you got a room full of 30 people and 2 of them are screaming and crying that they didn't get enough cookies, or that one of their cookies was broken and they should get another one because the broken one doesn't count. And it's just 2 kids screaming and crying, but it's like, you still feel like the whole room's full of screaming and crying children. Because it is full of children, but there's only 2 of them screaming. It's a tiny little minority of people that can't fucking deal with the realities of life at all. I mean, it's not life in America. It's not life in the first world. It's not life under capitalism or life in corporate dystopia. It's just life in general. It's just people who cannot stand the idea of sometimes you don't get to go to the bathroom right now. You have to hold it for a while. Sometimes you have to show up on time and you can't just be late because you feel like it. And we've had 3 generations of these fucking people that just more and more of them don't get it, and you have to teach them, hey, you know, this is the way that it works. They're like, well, it shouldn't work this way. In an ideal world, there is no ideal world, you fucking jackass. There isn't one. We've never had one. We're never going to have one. This is the world you live in. Live in it. I don't have any solutions. It's the thing I hate the most. Usually I see a problem, I can see a solution, I can see like some way out of it. I don't know any way out of. People cannot stand the idea that they don't get everything that they want right now. Grow the fuck up is like the only solution. You know, that's it. And everybody needs to grow the fuck up is not a solution that there's any way whatsoever to implement. And it feels like it's getting worse. It really does feel like it's getting worse, but I don't know what to fucking do about it. I don't know. I'll just keep making videos and trying to finish this fucking game, I guess. I'll just fiddle while Rome burns. At least I'm not in charge of anything. Okay, bye.